surprise.
How sweet. Race you home. Look, Ma, Smed brought me some peach blossom.
You better put those in water.
Hello, Mother Chase.
Smed,
While Alice is inside, I have a question for you.
well,
I have a mind to ask you for her hand.
what you hankering to do with her hand?
I mean to marry her.
Allie, Smed's asked me for you. Do you want to marry him?
And so the story goes of the 1893 engagement of James Smedley of Bountiful and Alice Chase of Centerville. At least that's what my friend Smed told me. That's James Samuel Smedley. I'm working his mighty fine peach orchards here in Bountiful. Their union blossomed into something very sweet and special. Yep, they got married all right. One of the first couples to be sealed in the newly finished Salt Lake Temple. It was over this threshold that James carried his new bride, now Alice Smedley. It was Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1894.
Smed told me he thought Alice was the prettiest girl in all Centerville. James went to school through the 5th grade and then went to work in the fields around Bountiful. He earned 50 cents a day, often paid in produce. His mother would pack him a meal every day so he wouldn't have to come home for lunch. But she would often find him sitting on the porch, eating her packed goodies because, said he, I was homesick.
Over time, James bought land to farm. He owned and worked his own peach orchard and produce farm just across the street from here, where Bountiful Junior High and City Park will eventually be built.
In his teens, he worked as a flag boy for the railroad. He also helped connect the rail joints for the line running from Kaysville to Sandy.
He was now paid a whopping $1.50 a day. Coming up in the world, James.
But he didn't get here by rail. No siree. As pioneers coming directly from England and then across our fruited plains, James first entered Bountiful on October 11th, 1864. He was riding first class with his parents, Samuel and Eliza Sturton Smedley. Eliza would give birth to James 7 days after arrival in the settlement. James' father, Samuel, eventually built a rock home in East Bountiful where James resided until his marriage. I guess he got over his homesickness.
James paid $800 cash for 1.5 acres here at 305 North Main.
Removing a small log and adobe house on the property, he built this house from 1892 to 1893, and doing all the painting himself.
While Ma and I were courting, they dedicated the Salt Lake Temple. Up by the pinnacle, they had 3 floor planks for us to step on. We went up and touched the feet of the Angel Moroni statue.
James was 30 years old when he married Alice. 30, you say? 30? Well, said he, I wanted to be a bit more secure of my situation. And secure they would be. This would be the only home they ever had, newly built by the hands and helpers of James Smedley. Alice and James were blessed with a baby daughter, Josephine, near the end of 1894. Sadly, she passed away shortly after birth.
2 years later, in early 1896, James was called to preach the gospel as a missionary in North Carolina. I don't know if it was great timing, but he left when Alice was 8 months along with their second child. He served almost 3 years, traveling without purse or script. Thankfully, he said he never went hungry for long or lacked a place to sleep.
Sunday, October 18th, 1896. This is my birthday. I'm 32 years old, and I'm spending it about 3,000 miles away from home, trying to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. I received a letter from my dear wife with $1 in it. It almost made me cry to think how far away I was from the one I love so dearly, and to see by her kindness how dearly she loved me.
James baptized 54 people. He and Alice both thought the sacrifice was worth it. On his return, James surprised Alice. Born 6 weeks after his father left,
In every condition.
In poverty.
Smedley!
and apparently already a defender of the home front. James helped develop the Growers Market in Salt Lake City. It was a cooperative organization for selling the produce of local farmers, particularly those in Davis County. He took his products to market in his Studebaker wagon, drawn by his team of 2 horses. James eventually remodeled the house with a kitchen, bathroom, an additional bedroom, and basement. And given the choice between an upper story or a porch, Alice insisted.
Smed, I gotta have a porch.
And true to his word, this is the sweeping, wraparound structure with these white, stately columns James constructed. Alice and James eventually had 7 children in the house. 2 died in infancy, Josephine and Alice, leaving Dan, Ruth, James, George, and Gladys.
James and Alice served in many different church callings over the years, attending the First Ward, which met in the Tabernacle. James also served as the Davis County Assessor and a U.S. Census taker.
Alice passed away first, near the end of 1939. James was so heartbroken, he died a short 4 months later in 1940. After that, a daughter, Ruth, occupied the home for many years. The home remained in the Smedley family until 2005, when they leased the home to the first of 3 restaurants. To accommodate the change, the roof was raised to create an upstairs, and a stairway was added. Eventually, the home was sold to the city of Bountiful to house the museum. An additional 1,000 square feet were then added along with a basement to accommodate the public and display space.
All in all, James and Alice, you did well.
The Smedley home was filled with devoted loved ones dedicated to family, church, and community. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of love, of Valentine, to ongoing generations in the continuing Smedley legacy.